contest. A sex change, removable skirts, or hiring an Aruban singer named Dave. This year, to sway the French vote, the British have chosen a contestant called Garlic. Will Jessica be smelling of roses or leaving a bad taste in the mouth? Get in the mood with Song Contest previews Tuesday to Friday at 8:30 and join the party on Saturday the 25th from 7 on BBC Choice.
Sunday night premieres on BBC Choice. Dermot's new music show.
It's a music show featuring 3 bands that do one of their own numbers and then they do a cover, and it's all absolutely live.
Premieres of the Kumars.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Throw me on the floor and peel me a grape.
And Dinah's brand new reality TV.
I don't play that game.
Sunday night premieres. Wow! Sunday from 8 on BBC Choice.
The contestants head off to New Orleans in Come Fly With Me in half an hour on Choice, but first a trip all around the showbiz world, no less, or at least as far as Croydon. It's Liquid News.
Good evening. These are tonight's headlining stories. You Are the Weakest Link Goodbye. Star-Spangled Axe falls on Robinson and Millionaire. Never mind the Monarchs, Sex Pistols announce post-Jubilee Jamboree. And re-entering The Matrix, Liquid News has the hottest new trailer in Hollywood. Hello, here's your starter for 10. Are the final credits about to roll on nasty TV quiz shows? Tonight, Anne Robinson is weighing up her options after NBC shelved the American version of The Weakest Link, and ABC in the States has canned the primetime edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Ratings have nosedived in the UK too, so what's going to take their place in the heart of the world's quiz fanatics? Let's cross live now to Celebrity Quiz Night at the Magdala Pub in East Dulwich and our reporter Claire McDonnell. Hello, Claire.
Hello, how are you doing?
And tell me, why exactly are you there, Claire, in a pub in Dulwich?
We're here in a pub in Dulwich because, as you so rightfully pointed out, it's a Celebrity Pub Quiz Night here this evening. I'm joined by pub quiz aficionados, James Nesbit, Stephen Frost and Neil Morrissey.
They're
who you can see
celebrities.
are visibly shocked. They are celebrities, and they're visibly shocked at the news that Anne Robinson has been axed sensationally in the States.
Why has it all gone so horribly wrong, do we think?
Well, it seems to be that hype and spin had an awful lot to do with it. I mean, especially The Weakest Link in the States was hyped to the hilt, but it seems that just wasn't enough for the audiences over there.
Can we speak to a real celeb? Get there.
Welcome to The Weakest Link.
What goes up must come down.
It was all looking so promising. A 7-year multi-million-dollar contract with NBC, a wardrobe Cruella de Vil would die for, and a guarantee of instant stardom stateside. But in just under a year, The Weakest Link has proved just that in the US ratings. Such has been the dramatic fall in viewers that NBC has decided to shelve the show, prompting a none too flattering comment on the American IQ from its host.
You have to remember that only 5% of Americans have passports. That explains a lot.
Whose knowledge is best suited to watching television, certainly not appearing on it.
On one American show, I asked a young soap star how many minutes there were in half an hour. She said 60.
You are The Weakest Link. Goodbye.
But the figures speak for themselves. Season 1 pulled in 13 million viewers, just 9.4 tuned in this season. It's a similar story with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire stateside, which has plummeted from 28 million to just 9.7 million. So how come shows that have proved ratings hits on this side of the pond just haven't travelled that well?
Well, of course, there was a huge amount of hype when it first went over there, and the billboards of Anne Robinson in Times Square and everything, so people obviously tuned in to see what all the fuss was about, just like we did when Survivor came over here, but they soon found it wasn't very interesting for them.
So what's the future? Well, it seems that whilst the States are rejecting our hits, we're trying to make hits out of their rejects. Extreme quiz show The Chair, hosted by John McEnroe, was shelved after a short run in the States due to poor ratings. Now Now the BBC has signed it up for 10 episodes this autumn.
You get this right, you get $40,000 added to your total.
But the BBC has proved it can still hit the mark and pull in a major audience for a new format, with last weekend's interactive IQ extravaganza, Test the Nation, hosted by, you've guessed it, yours truly, Anne Robinson. 9 million tuned in, and with the prospect of a US version on the cards, it could be Annie who's having the last smirk. So things could be looking up for Anne Robinson, but as it stands at the moment, no more weakest link in the States. As I said, I'm joined in the pub, in the Magdala pub in East Dulwich, by Mr. James Nesbit, Mr. Stephen Frost and Mr. Neil Morrissey. Are you shocked? No more Anne Robinson in America?
I think she's probably taken a bit of time off to get some metal removed from, you know, various parts of her body, because she's a bit spiky, isn't she?
She is. Where do you think she's going wrong with, Stephen? Is the extra of cruelty's gone a bit too far on quiz shows?
Well, I'm confused already. You said she. I thought it was he. Well, maybe that's it, you see. Yeah, if I didn't know she was a woman, that's where she's going wrong.
She's just too spiky, would you agree, James?
I couldn't bear the programme myself, but only because I never understood that idea of just pretending to be horrible to people, you know. I'd prefer people to be horrible to me and mean it rather than her. I mean, it's just ridiculous. See, that was horrible, but also with love.
Genuinely vicious. Do you think we want more kind of cuddly quiz shows like Tonight Live from Norwich? Go back to the good old days?
I think we want the sale of the century again.
Yeah, sale of the century, yeah.
I think kitsch is the byword. So that's we've got to go back in time. Either that or go the opposite way and have like snuff quizzes, you know. Where you
harsh, but you know, you get a result, I suppose, at the end of it.
Not necessarily all the way to death, just maybe the removal of limbs, maybe a couple of fingers.
It's like the quiz we're going to do tonight. So we're all the quiz masters tonight, and these guys, they're different from Anne Robinson. They're charming, and they've got charisma and talent. So you know, it just works in their favour.
Also, if you ever think that arrogance is sort of works and sells, I think she's been showing that it hasn't. And the greatest thing was I saw that there was a billboard in New York saying, "Anne Robinson, you are the weakest link. Goodbye."
Quite literally, goodbye. So sayonara, Anne Robinson, and sayonara from the Magdala Arms down here in East Dulwich in London.
Well, thank you. My studio guests tonight are showbiz pundit McKenna and emerging UK garage duo, the Realists.
R&B, actually.
R&B. I was only reading the auto cue. I should have known from your woolly hat. So, what do you make of all this? Do we care about the weakest link?
Not really feeling it, to be honest, personally.
Me, I love it.
I knew we'd tire a bit quickly, because I tired a bit after about 2.5 episodes, but it's no great surprise, is it, Steve?
I don't think it is. It seems to be the way of television at the moment. Recently we saw John Cleese's show over in the States. Ran for one whole episode before they thought, no, let's have something new.
That's what they do. I did a whole series in America, and they said it was all going to be great, and then they changed their mind before it went to air and whipped it out. The schedules.
Yes.
And that was that.
They do seem to want to do that, though. They seem to keep looking for the next thing. They want it bigger, better and larger every time. And you're not getting any chance for talent to develop. Yeah. And obviously there's nowhere for Anne Robinson to develop it.
Well, it's that whole American yo #1. I think she's charming. Some people like her. It's sort of moving wallpaper for tea time, I think. Anyway, some other breaking news. Tonight, the Osbournes will not be shown in the UK this Sunday as scheduled. The Fly on the Wall show follows the real-life scrapes and rows of the family, led by the former Black Sabbath frontman Ozzy. But MTV says it's been shelved due to contractual issues. They say the show will be aired at a later date. Still to come, George Lucas rattles his sabre over Cannes. We're going there live next.
It's high noon for Jimmy Nesbit as he tackles horsey hijinks.
You're a buttless wonder.
And bullish bravado in the place that taste and time forgot.
It's a good job no one's allergic to hairspray, yeah?
Exploring the bizarre world of rodeo in James Nesbitt's Blazing Saddles, tomorrow 10:30 on BBC Choice.
The Cannes Film Festival is warming up. Marilyn Manson's been heard burbling on about the Columbine High School massacre. Kate Winslet has signed to play a lion tamer. And our reporter, Steph West, has been nosing around in the rooms of top celebs. Hello.
Hello, Julian.
Are you bearing up?
There. I'm bearing up very, very well. I've got a friend of yours here, actually.
Oh, do show.
Someone who is selling a film you're in, I understand.
I'm a nasty gangster, aren't I? It's Nick Moran.
Nick Moran here. You're in Cannes, aren't you, to sell this a film about where I think Julian plays a sperm smuggler.
No, Julian doesn't play a sperm smuggler. Julian plays a young Jedi who, it's a film about sperm smuggling set in Bognor, and Julian is a tremendous turn and an asset to our film.
And you've got Joe Bugner in there as well, I understand.
A whole bunch of people: Joe Bugner, David Seaman, Ray Parler, Samantha Janis, Lisa Faulkner, I run out of names after that.
David Seaman was a good booking, wasn't he?
He's done tremendously well, Jules. We're really going to crack the box office wide open. So if I was you, I'd get out of that presenting chair and just buy a tin of Brasso to polish up your Oscar.
So we'll let you know when he sells it.
It's all very well for him saying that, swanning round on yachts, sipping champagne, being a film star. I'm just a lowly camp comedian. He can't hear me.
He's saying that you're nipping around a yacht, sipping champagne, and he's being a lowly comedian. I think,
but can I ask you what other celebs are there around?
Yeah, there's lots of other celebs around. Today we saw Sharon Stone besides Nick. We saw Sharon Stone arriving with Patricia Arquette and Rosanna Arquette. They were here for their film premiere tonight. Unfortunately, Sharon Stone forgot to wear her shoes because she was so busy getting ready with her pajamas and her fake fur coat. And today again, we've seen George Lucas arriving to promote Star Wars as if he wasn't getting enough publicity elsewhere.
Well, the hotels there must be packed to the rafters. How much is an average hotel room in Cannes?
Depends where you go, but basically the population of Cannes swells 50% during the festival, and that's despite the fact that most locals just scarper off and rent out their apartments for extortionate prices. There's a Hotel du Cap up there, which is £1,000 a night. That's if you could get in, and you have to pay in cash. Most of the knobby hotels on the Croisette are booked out for the film companies, so you wouldn't even get in there, despite the fact that the prices have tripled. But I've been looking at the prices today, and I've come to the conclusion that whatever you buy, it's all overpriced.
We can tell it's
When
packed.
Star Wars big cheese George Lucas arrived here in Cannes, he booked straight into the most expensive hotel on the Croisette.
Oh, the Carlton.
But Cannes has a less glamorous underbelly reserved for those who come to see, not be seen.
We're not even in Cannes because we couldn't afford to be in Cannes this year. We're 10 miles down the road in Joanne-le-Pin because that's the nearest hotel we could get that our budget could suffice for the few days that we're here.
In fact, most journalists end up in apartments just like this one, with works of art by painters yet to be discovered. During the festival, this apartment goes for £1,500 a week. A bit steep, even if it does have treasures in every Formica chest. An electric oyster opener, that is handy. And then there's the ocean-going accommodation. At the bottom end, for £2,000 a week, boats with no flush. Then there are the corporate boats. Soho House is an exclusive media club in London, but every year they bring this boat here to Cannes. It should cost £500 just to film on here, but because we're public broadcasting, they let us have it for free.
I'd say my favourite boat would have to be that one down there where they have all the parties on them, the one down there, the American one I think it is.
But for £15,000 a day, you get a boat with a lovely grand piano. This is the Hollywood boat, here to market its own celebrity slimming water and very special bracelets. It's been rented for £1,500 a day, but those on board have their eyes on the cruiser with its own chopper nearby.
The letter of the boat is called the Lady Moore. Actually it's in gold. Everything is gold, and Is
it real gold?
Yeah, real gold, exactly.
So we couldn't actually rent it then, no, not at all.
I don't think so. It depends if you're very, very rich.
Maybe you can sneak on it. You know, if we really work it out with some of the people working on it, we might be able to sneak on it for 5 minutes, but that's the best we could do, I guess.
And I'm joined now by another movie producer, Peter Braun, who's out here raising money for his latest project. You produced Rob Roy, which got an Oscar nomination for Tim Roth. So how much money do you have to spend when you come out here?
You can't even think about it before you come, otherwise you wouldn't come. It's just ridiculous.
How do you make ends meet then if you're outlaying so much money on where you're staying?
Well, you have to sort of like dress up properly and look as if you're up to the part. But really, what you're doing most of the time is blagging free breakfast, free lunches, free dinners, free drinks. Just like this actor sitting beside me here, who said, "Can I have a glass of champagne as soon as he finished his piece?" It happens all the time.
Nick, do you think you can get away with not buying any food whatsoever when you're in Cannes?
I'm eating your olives.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely right.
That is the thing. It does seem to be so many hospitality boats up and down.
Yeah, well, it's the companies are paying for it. They're all promoting themselves, so there's a lot of free stuff happening.
And tell us, your film, you're raising money, you're close to completing it. What is it about?
It's called The Flying Scotsman. It's the true story of Scottish cyclist Graham Aubrey, who built his own bike out of scrap metal and washing machine parts, became world champion, got blocked by the cycling authorities, won the world championship again. It says zero to hero story.
And have you got a star signed up to play him?
I'm glad to say, and I think I can say this, that Johnny Lee Miller is very keen to play Graham, so we're hoping to get moving late summer, autumn.
Okay, good luck with both those projects.
I'm actually available.
I was going to talk to you about that.
A bit of networking going on. Back to you, Julian.
We can tell it's packed there, Steph, because you obviously couldn't find a hairdresser. But can I ask you now, who is going to win the Palme d'Or, do you think?
Well, at the moment, a lot of people are saying that the favourite is Spider. Tomorrow we're going to see Bowling for Columbine, which is another film up for the Palme d'Or. And we've got a clip of it here in which Marilyn Manson talks about the Columbine massacre and how he believes anything but his music is responsible for it.
The two byproducts of that whole tragedy were violence and entertainment and gun control. And how perfect that was the two things that we were going to talk about with the upcoming election. And also then we forgot about Monica Lewinsky, and we forgot about the president was shooting bombs overseas, yet I'm a bad guy because I've sang some rock and roll songs. And who's a bigger influence, the president or Marilyn Manson?
Yeah, and you can see he had his own makeup and hairdresser as well. But we'll let you know how it goes with the screening of the films for the Palme d'Or. But back to you now, Julian.
Thank you. Now, in other film news, the first pictures of the eagerly awaited sequels to The Matrix have sneaked out of Hollywood, and we have them. The Matrix Reloaded is due out next May, quickly followed by the third instalment, Revolutions. And it looks as though Crows are going to be big next summer.
I believe it is our fate to be here. It is our destiny. I believe this night holds for each and every one of us the very meaning of our lives. This is a war, and we are soldiers. What if tomorrow the war could be over? Isn't that worth fighting for? Isn't that worth dying for?
Gosh, not a dry seat in the house.
Indeed.
Do you think it's going to be a good film?
I think the first one is going to be a great film because
We've seen the first one. You mean the second one?
The first of these two, sorry, the second, yes. It all gets a bit confusing when they do it in this order. But I think where they're going to fall down enormously is if you look at Phantom Menace and then compare it to Attack of the Clones, the technology has moved on enormously in a year. And yet what they've done is they've filmed two films together in one period of time, filmed both of these new films in the space of 2 years.
I know what you're saying.
The technology is going to lag behind by the time we get to the third one.
But it might be a gripping story. I mean, it's not all about technology.
It's got Keanu Reeves in it. It's not going to be a gripping story. It's going to be down to the effects. And I think the thing that made the Matrix was bullet time effect in the first one, which they used throughout the whole thing. And
you're nodding away there. Did you like The Matrix?
I love The Matrix. For me, that film, that's one of the best films I've ever seen in my life.
I watched 20 minutes of it once before my eyes glazed over.
Entertainment all the way through. For me, anyway, yeah.
So you're going to watch the next two?
I think people are going to be disappointed by the time it gets to the third one because the effects aren't going to be quite up to it. And a couple of little inside bits. We saw in there some sword work. They don't actually use swords in it at all. I spoke to one of the special effects guys who's working on it out in LA. The swords are actually that length, about 4 or 5 inches. And
it's enough, isn't it?
Well, it depends how you use it. They animate it on later so that they don't cut anybody to ribbons. But yeah, there's been a lot of problems on the set with this movie as well, obviously with Aaliyah dying halfway through filming, and they've replaced her. They've done the principal photography on it.
Have they finished filming them yet?
They have, indeed, yeah. It's in post-production just now.
But you've got your theories about the third one.
Yeah,
Well, you heard
I think it's going to suck.
I don't know, I agree, man. I agree.
You do agree?
Yeah.
Technology's moving.
We just have to wait and see, chaps. We don't know, sitting there with your cheap jewellery on.
It's top, man.
Up next, So Solid's face back in court, and the Realists pull them in. So Solid crew member Jason Moore has avoided a jail term after admitting driving offences in South London. Moore, known to fans as Face and the police as Defendant, was sentenced to a 12-month community rehabilitation order, which is a form of routine supervision. Rebecca Cooper was at Camberwell Green Magistrates Court for Liquid News.
10 o'clock at Camberwell Magistrates, and MC Face, or declared Jason Moore, has a date in court number 1. He'd already pleaded guilty in April to driving whilst disqualified and without insurance. Today's So Solid appearance was to hear his fate. Interestingly, no one sniggered when it was read out that he'd been caught driving a D-Reg Ford Escort. Not quite up to some of the So Solid posse's standard.
Always A's and B's in my classes.
By all accounts, Jason Moore was lucky not to be put behind bars. In a 5-minute hearing, the magistrate made it clear that if he drives again whilst disqualified, it'll be a custodial sentence. Instead, he was ordered to pay £50 costs, face a 12-month ban, and was told to attend a year-long community rehabilitation programme. Despite such a lenient sentence, Jason wasn't in the mood to share his joy. His only comment outside court to waiting journalists:
Big up Asher D, yeah?
Asher D is, of course, the current comrade in arms. He's in prison for 18 months for possession of a gun and is about to release his first single, autobiographically entitled Why Me? Naturally, being at His Majesty's pleasure is expected to enhance his record sales. Rebecca Cooper, BBC News.
So that's your friend. What do you think that was lenient?
Yeah, he's upset. He is upset about, you know, what has happened, and with himself as well, you know. But, you know, that's just, you know, Face is a really well-grounded person, and he knows he's made a mistake, and I don't know.
It sounded like it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have, and he has got off like really easily, yeah, and he's aware of that himself.
And is Asher a friend of yours?
Met him through Seth, really,
Right.
but Seth's more...
How's he getting on?
To be honest, I haven't really heard too much from Asher, but I'm pretty sure he's all right, you know.
Drop him a line.
Yeah, I will, definitely, you know.
Send him a food parcel.
I will. Ash, what's happening?
A signed photo of me.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Now, as we've heard, my feature guests tonight have collaborated with the So Solid crew, and now they're launching their own chart assault. The Realists are causing a frisson of excitement with their debut single, Freak Mode. Let's see if it excites us.
Now we're all alone, so no one has to know. Put your body into freak mode, just go with the flow. Then she gave a sign, dashed me up behind. I put my body into freak mode, just go with the flow. And I'll be laughing up in the park, in the dark, in the movies, getting nasty, where nobody can be watching me. I know I'm taking my chance, but you would do the same if she began to dance. Tell me, what am I to do when she's crying? I want you. Tell her no. You're better off to go. She said, freak mode, yeah. Freak mode. He's on the floor, on all fours.
Well, it's a nice way to carry on your kitchen table. It's a lovely song. I've heard it before, I think. Has it been around for a while?
It has, yeah. I mean, it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and now finally they've put it out.
Nice to see you without your glasses there. Give them I want to try them on. Why are you wearing a hat on a hot day?
It got kind of cooler later on, didn't it?
I don't know, I've been stuck in here. So there's quite a lot of pressure on you two. You're not very chatty, are you?
I'm chatty. I'm chatty. When it comes to my turn, then.
No, I say this because I've been reading all these, blues and souls saying that you're the names to watch in the future, even eventually defining the course of urban music, whatever that means. How do you react to all this pressure?
It's great, man. I mean, this is what we wanted. This is why we entered the whole game.
It only excites me, to be honest. It just gets me more and more prepared for, the bigger stuff that we're going to throw out there later on.
Did you like the song?
Yeah, I think what's really good about it is it's actually taken R&B in the UK in a really positive direction. I could see that working over in the States, which is what we need to start doing over there, because British acts are doing terribly over there, being dropped by their American labels. It's the worst state of play for UK pop in America in 20 years currently. So stuff like this, I think, could do very well.
Is that your plan to go to America?
To be honest, I want to bring America here. I know that sounds crazy and no one's done it yet, but we're kind of not in a rush to go to America. We want to stay in Britain and just do it here.
I'm giving your glasses a polish.
Thank you, I do appreciate that.
They were covered in fingerprints. It's the thing about these, you have to
be very careful, I was getting grabbed before I came in here. After they mobbed you, they tried to mob me.
Is there an album to go with it?
Definitely.
There is. We're working on it at the moment. We're just working on it at the moment in the studio. It's called On The Real. And it should be out this summer.
And why Realists, R-E-E? What does that mean?
We just made lots of reels. We got loads of songs in little brown boxes piled away in the studio, and that's what we call the Realists.
Marvellous. And that's the single that is out now. I'm going to give
that's right.
It's out now. Bye.
Much live work going on?
Yeah, a lot.
Excellent. Well, still to come, God Save the Queen. John Lydon announces his plans for the Jubilee.
Everyone wants to be someone, but who do the rock stars want to be?
Who stokes the strokes, drives the hives, rocks the crew, turns the keys, tames the pets, hypes the stripes. Over 10 weeks, 30 artists bare their souls, each doing one of their own tracks and then covering a song that means something to them. No miming, no videos, all 100% live. Recut, reworked, remixed, recut.
Premiere Sunday at 8 and throughout the week at 9, exclusive to BBC Choice.
Stand by for the great rock and roll swindle part 2. Johnny Rotten Lydon has announced that the Sex Pistols are to reform for a one-off gig to celebrate their very own Jubilee. It's 25 years since the Pistols released God Save the Queen, so as a treat for Her Royal Highness, the band are re-releasing the track in time for next month's Golden Jubilee celebrations. Sam Singh says no spitting for Liquid News.
Forget the rest, those fun-loving anarchists are back again.
My name's John. I'm here to represent the Sex Pistols, a band I used to be in and still am when it suits me.
Dear, dear Johnny, nowadays it's a Volvo-driving sometime monarchist who says he's the best thing about the Golden Jubilee year.
I'm here to tell you, on July the 27th, I'm going to be playing at Crystal Palace Sports Centre. £32.50, hardly breaking the bank, is it?
The years haven't done anything to soften John Lydon. He swears like an ex-boy band member and he doesn't much respect anyone or anything. But like most pensioners, he's got plenty to say about everything. Here's his current view on the Queen.
I've always wanted to get into her knickers, that's the problem.
And on our World Cup hope, David Beckham.
He couldn't even wear a dress proper, and that's saying something, isn't it?
And social warrior Billy Bragg.
Professional socialist, he's the middle class's Coco the Clown.
John Lydon's amazing. He's, I've no idea what he's up to. No one knows. If you ask him a question, he says no. If you say, do you like fish? He says no. If you say, I hear you hate fish, he goes, I love fish. He's just in a complete world of his own.
John Lydon says that he's not personally re-releasing God Save the Queen. It's the record company, but he's more than happy to sit back and take in the filthy lucre.
I don't do nothing for nothing. I fully intend to make some money, of course.
None of the support acts have been booked, but it's safe to say we can eliminate Billy Bragg. Johnny has hinted that he may consider one band if they think about reforming. Steps?
Do you know what? That would be all right. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
But Liggers beware, he's expecting everyone to cough up their full £32.50. And if you don't, prepare to be named and shamed, whoever you are.
I know Madonna wants to be on the guest list. There's some justice in that, isn't there?
I suppose there is, Johnny. Sam Singh, BBC News.
Well, there we are. He's good value, isn't he? It's just become a kind of professional angry person. Do we like him?
Yeah, I do.
Stands out personality, yeah, man. Why not? Yeah.
Attitude goes far.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you reckon?
I think it's really good that you got someone like him who, I mean, that single, if I'm not mistaken, was first released back in 1977, and he's still here, he's still annoying people, he's still being talked about, whereas the guy who was at #1 and held him off the top spot was Rod Stewart. Who would you rather meet, Rod Stewart or him? I think it's got to be John Lydon every time.
But it's hard not to become a parody of yourself after a certain time, and Lord knows, I know, you know, but after a certain amount of time doing the same thing.
I think he's got a bit of intellect about him though, and he constantly annoys people, and you can never quite, it's what Dave Quantick was saying there, you can never quite put your finger on him, and it's that Andy Warhol thing of always reinventing yourself every few years. He seems to do it every 30 seconds, and I like that.
Johnny Rotten?
Yeah.
He's not reinvented, is he?
Well, I think he is, yes. He seems to be, because he's doing political stuff over in the States now. He's doing political commentary, and he's still in the same...
Well, we'll see, so I have to stop you there.
Sorry.
You'll be around in 25 years, I'm sure. That's it from us. The Kumars at number 42 are on Choice at 10:30. Liquid News is back tomorrow night at 8. Thank you for watching, and good night.
It's recovered in half an hour on BBC Choice, but first to New Orleans. Sorry, no, an American friend said I must pronounce it Norlins. So Come Fly With Me is in Norlins. Satisfied now?
I'm Joe Mace. Here are the facts. Fact 1. Myself and 5 couples will be flying from this airport to a sexy destination. Fact 2. Within 24 hours,